Hello and welcome to another segment of Open House where we celebrate who we are and what we do as a community. This is our holiday special and I can't think of having anything more special than the mayor of Gettysburg, Ted Streeter, with us here today.
Well, thank you very much
Ted,
for the invitation.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Raymond. It's nice of you to invite me.
Yeah, I always like sitting down with you.
Well, it's a pleasure. I enjoy talking to you as well.
You're very gracious. You are.
Thank you.
So I think the last time that we had a chance to speak was last year at this time.
It was just about this time, yes.
So what happened this year? What is something that you would think as one of the biggest occurrences?
There are a lot of things have gone on this year, Ray. Of course, the number one issue last night at the council meeting was the casino. Well, one of the number was the casino, which we voted against. It's very unlikely that anyone in any case would put one in Gettysburg. There's no room to put one in Gettysburg, but just to seal the deal, we had the opportunity to vote no on it, and we took that opportunity. So that pretty well excludes anybody from trying to put one in the borough. It would just destroy the ambiance of the town. The other big issue in the year is the police department. As you know, we had 3 lawsuits against us at one time. They have all been settled now. And we have rebuilt the police department. I think Chief Doherty is doing an outstanding job in running it, and we've got some good young officers. We've got a couple new in terms of job, sergeants on the force. So it seems to be working fairly well, and let's hope we don't get any more problem children.
Well, that's a nice transition. So it took a whole year to settle everything?
Nothing happens overnight. You
No.
know, I wish I could snap my fingers and make instant change, but it just doesn't, especially in government, it just doesn't work that way.
In a way, that's to a benefit too, that it takes a while for things to play out.
Well, it is. You get a chance to evaluate each step, and I got hemmed in by the attorney, whom I love. They do good work, but it seems to me that everything I tried, I was told I can't do it. But it was with good intent, and it all turned out well.
It's nice to have yourself surrounded with people who are protecting you and the town.
Oh, I've never worked in any job, especially in management, that the people working for me didn't know more about the job than I do, and I rely very heavily on that. They're very, very good people. Our borough manager, borough secretary, both very, very competent. The chief, as I mentioned, so they've pretty well kept me straight.
And anything else?
Economic development, of course, we're always circling the drain financially in the borough. We passed a budget this year with a mild tax increase, which is going to go primarily to hiring 2 more police officers and a part-time secretary for the police department. We are bringing on another full-time person in the Department of Public Works. But we've really been at really skeletal strength in the borough staff for a number of years. I think we had, something like close to 55 or 6 years ago. Now we've got close to 20, 25, and so unfortunately, and I'm not dinging the council, they try to do their job, but their answer to everything is not raise taxes and cut people. And you can do that to an extent, but it gets to the point where you lose services, the services that people in the borough depend upon. So I think the new borough manager realizes that, and I'm pretty sure the new council, which we're going to seat in January, will realize that. And so I'm very optimistic for the coming year with regard to economic development and the council.
So it's like a new beginning every year?
Every 2 years is a new beginning. Out with the old and in with the new. And I'm not, Bob Crumrich and Graham Weaver and Scott Pitzer, who were on the council, are leaving, going on to bigger and better things. And Charles Strauss, Patty Lawson, and Chuck Berger are coming on the council. And John Lauber, whom we appointed last night. John's been around forever. He has held personally virtually every position in the borough. He was with the borough for 29 years, so he knows the system in and out, and I think he'll be a good counterbalance to the new 3 people who are coming on who are not familiar with the workings of borough government.
There is a learning curve.
Oh, there definitely is. There's been more than one, myself included, who've been on one side of the table saying, well, you ought to be doing this, you ought to be doing that. And then you get it on the other side and say, well, it can't be done that way.
Yeah.
Or it's been tried or what have you, you know. So it is a learning experience. But they're very intelligent and avid candidate or electees, and I think they will do very well.
And their heart's all at the good place.
Absolutely, that's a requirement for community service, and I appreciate their stepping forward. And the other candidates who applied for John's position, the position that John got last night. There was time when I first went on council when you virtually had to go out and Shanghai people off the street in order to get them to serve. Now we have actual competition for the positions, and that's good. And moreover, they're by and large younger people.
And that's good.
It's very good. When I first went on the council, a bunch of old retired goats like me who, had seen their careers and were looking for something to do. But now you've got people, Jake Schindel and others that are actually involved in the community, have businesses in the community, and are more in touch with the business community than has been in the past. And so they're very forward-thinking, very innovative, and I'm looking for progress.
And they have a pulse of what's needed.
They do. They see customers, people come in their shops every day, people they deal with every day, and they talk to people, and they do.
Now, do you have committees that people who aren't on the council, that they can volunteer and serve?
Well, we do. We have a planning commission, and we have the zoning hearing board, and there are other activities that the borough participates in that people can volunteer for, but those are the two main ones. And we have had recent openings on the planning commission, which was filled very capably, I think, by Sarah Witt, who came on. She's a registered, or whatever you call them, town planner, so she knows her business. And they also are a little forward-thinking. I've always been a person who hates to hear, "Well, you can't do that." I just don't like to hear that.
Yeah.
Tell me how we can do it. And that's the way they're approaching the problems. So we'll make some progress, I hope.
So if the youth or someone else in the community really wanted to get involved, but didn't want to be on the council, they could become part of one of those committees?
Oh, of course. Well, they are by select, and there are only 5 or so on each committee. So when a vacancy occurs, they can apply. But there are other ways. You can call the borough manager, and I mean, there's GARA, the athletic department, which is always looking for help. The garden club is always looking for help. There are a lot of activities in town which anyone can become involved in, and community spirit, and community involvement is the essence of democracy, as we are learning. You've got to become involved if you're going to control your environment and produce results. And so, yeah, there's always something for somebody to do if they want to volunteer.
You can't just sit back.
Can't sit back. Nobody can sit back. I think we've learned the problem of sitting back and saying, let George do it, as the old saying used to go. I'm very disappointed that not only the local but the national voting rate of 20-30%. That's disgraceful for a democracy such as ours when such big issues are at stake. And I want to see people get involved. I mean, you don't have to be a forefront, you don't have to be a leader, you don't have to stand on a soapbox and give your opinion, but you do have to participate.
So they could just get a hold of the borough and they could be channeled a way that...
The borough has a website, www.gettysburgpa.gov, which anyone could go on. It's a very comprehensive website designed by Charles Gable, our borough manager. And through that, one can volunteer, get in touch directly with Charles or with any member of the borough staff and offer services or ask questions and become involved in that way. So you don't have to physically go to the borough building to do that. You can do it from your own home.
And the fire department?
Fire department I'm less familiar with, but we have Wes Heiser on the council, who's a big deal in the fire department. I don't know what assistant chief or something or other. A very nice guy, very capable council person. He can be contacted through the borough website if they want to participate in fire department activities, and I'm sure Wes can find a place for them.
So what is your hopes for the community this year?
I'd like to see, we have what used to be called the Ready Project right down the street here. Now it's called Gettysburg Station or something like that. We're working towards developing it. That's a very rich property tax-wise and for economic development. But it's been hindered by arcane zoning regulations and this type and the other thing. So as I mentioned, our Planning Commission and Zoning Hearing Board are working towards correcting those, and we want to get somebody in there to develop that, put in a Taco Bell or Five Guys, but find some use for it.
I'm for both.
Yeah, oh, well, so am I. Yeah,
I'm for both.
as you can tell.
Yeah. So, hopes for your family?
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate. All of our family, our daughter lives with her husband and family in North Carolina, our son who lives with his wife and 2 young daughters in Brooklyn. Everyone is in good health and doing well. We're very pleased and we're very fortunate. God has blessed us with a very rich family, very loving family, and we're very, very fortunate, and I thank him for that.
And I thank him for you as a mayor. You do a great job.
I appreciate that.
You have the heart that is small town, opening up.
Thank you.
Really receptive to people, really empathetic and compassionate.
I've always enjoyed talking to people. When I you know, it's more than cutting ribbons and kissing babies. You know, there's a lot of involvement. Proclamations and speeches. The Veterans Day weekend, 11th of November, I had 4 things I had to be at. The weekend was gone for me. I didn't have a weekend. And tomorrow night I have something, and Thursday morning is. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy representing the borough and the people in it. There are good people here in Gettysburg, and I like meeting people, learning things, doing things. I enjoy the job. I do.
A lot of good people here.
A lot of good people in Gettysburg. It's a fine little town. We settled here 30-some years ago and have never regretted it. Yeah.
Ted, thanks for taking some time out. And
it's absolutely my
you want to say
pleasure.
something to the community here for the holidays?
I just want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year. Be safe. Be on the square then New Year's Eve. I'll be there counting down the seconds to the new year, and I'd like you to join me. And I want to express my appreciation to ACTV for what they're doing. It's very community-oriented, very community-spirited, and I think appreciated by all. So we get to know one another that way.
Good. On behalf of Ted Streeter, myself, the Board of Community Media, Mark Worley, Brandon Glorioso, we hope you have a great holiday, and this year will be your best.
Absolutely. Good. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ted.
This program is brought to you in part by the New Oxford Social and Athletic Club, as well as the McSherrystown Home Association. This program is also made possible through the noble support of Germany, Strabane, Freedom, and Mount Pleasant Townships through their cable franchise fees. If you'd like to support this or any of our other programs, please go to communitymedia.net. Thank you.